Welcome to The Person Everyone Needs. I am your host, Webb Hoggard, and today we are going to talk about the what. 2 weeks ago, we discussed who are you? Who are you at your core? And I hope you took some time to consider that and think through who it is that you are. Last week, we talked about why. Why can you face this world? And I told you it's because of who God is. One of the major ways of seeing that was, number one, God's sovereignty. God is sovereign over all. There is nothing that he can't affect. And because there is nothing that he doesn't have domain over, authority over, and there's nothing that he can't affect, that demonstrates God's power. He can change anything in a moment. In a moment, he can change whatever it is that you've been waiting for. Look, I'll tell you, there were seasons of my life that I thought I was being hidden away from the world and that I would never get my chance. Today, I stand at a place where I'm like, I am in awe of how God allowed me to get where I'm at. I have no idea why I'm getting to stand in this incredible place. And I'm trying to figure out, do I need to just be thankful for where I'm at, or do I need to spend every waking moment trying to figure out how to level up from it? But the truth is, there were years that I never thought I could stand in this great place. And the power of God, the power of Jesus, has demonstrated in my life that there's nothing he cannot do. And why? Because he loves me. What's on display that he set you up to stand up, to show up for other people, is that God's sovereignty proves his power through his love. God is sovereign over all things. God has unlimited power to bring you wherever it is that you believe God wants to take you. And the reason is because he loves you. I'm so thankful for the love of God in my life. But today, what I want to talk to you is a different question. If you could take the time to figure out who you are, and then we decided, and the reason you could face each day is because of why, which your why is who God is whose you are, then today, what are you doing? What's your response? What is the area in your life right now that you are not trusting and obeying the sovereignty of God? What? What do you need to hand over to God? What do you need to pick up? What do you keep thinking is God's just going to hand over to you, but it's time for you to wake up and go take it? What do you need to trust and obey? Now listen, trust gives the implications of letting go. Obedience has the idea of picking up. I believe there are things in your life right now that you need to pick up or let go. You need to trust God with it, or you need to step up and follow God toward it. What is it that he is sovereign over all things? Listen, he will do whatever it is that he desires to do, but you've got to decide in your own life, are you going to trust and are you going to obey who he is? Trust and obey is the first response. That's the first what you need to be thinking of. Today, is there something that you already know? Like you already know that I haven't been putting it in the hands of the Lord, or I know what I need to be doing. I know what I need to be focusing on, but it's just not the time. I just can't figure it out. But you know that God has called you to it, so you need to do something. Let me mention this to you. Number one, trust. That comes with a lot of prayer. I'm currently doing a prayer walk every single day, and it has been something where every day I kind of put the things that I usually carry on my shoulders, I put them in the hands of God and hand it over to him. What is it that you need to trust with God? I'll tell you, one of the areas is in parenting. I am scared to death I'm going to ruin my boys. I love them so much, and I don't want to be the problem. But the truth is, one way or another, I'll get blamed for something. All I can do is be as faithful as I possibly can and leave the rest to God. I have to trust my boys' lives and to God. That doesn't mean I'm not responsible. Absolutely not. No, I'm praying over them. I'm reading to them. I'm asking them about their life. I'm trying to be a good mentor. Example before them. I'm doing all that I can to be responsible. But the truth is, their destiny, their future, their salvation, all of those things are in the hand of the Lord. So I have to trust myself. I have to trust them to the Lord. Obedience, though, I feel like there's a book inside of me, and if I'm not obedient to what God has called me to do, then I'm going to sit back and wait for him to do the things that he's put in my hands to do. What does he called me to do to obey? What do I need to do tomorrow that I haven't been doing today? That's the difference. Trusting him with the things that you can't control, but being obedient in the things that you can do. One of the ways that will help you with this is if you'll get your mind off of trying to fix everybody else's situations. There's plenty enough in your own life to trust and obey. Leave everybody else alone. Here's the second response. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it as unto the Lord. Another way the scripture says is, whatever your hand finds to do it not as unto men or to please men, but do it with all of your heart. Look, whatever your hand is to doing right now, don't do it half-heartedly. Don't give it just what is required. Give it your all. Make it excellent. Give your whole self to it. And you say, well, Webb, I'm in a job right now I just don't even care about. Like, I don't even want to do this long term. Look, in the midst of doing that job that you have to do in this season, or go to those classes that you have to go during whatever it is that you have to do, if you'll make the most of it, you will gain reward, skill, ability. You will learn things about yourself in this season that you hate, that you don't want to be a part of, that you don't want to see. If you will be diligent in what you are doing, you will see, I promise you, you will see fruit of it in the season that you're looking forward to. But you have to do whatever you're doing with all of your heart. Why wouldn't you do it with all of your heart? Why wouldn't you do it as not unto men, but unto God? Why wouldn't you give it everything you have? Wherever it is, that's the what in your life. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all of your heart, not as unto men, but unto God. I want to see you come to life on whatever it is that you're doing. I know for myself, people tell me all the time, Webb, if you were to take less time studying for those messages, I don't think anybody would notice. And I don't know that they would or not, but look, this is what God has called me to do in this season, and I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm not going to do this. I've had other people say that you need to take a break, you need to stay chill, and maybe there is some rights to that. There are moments that you need to rest. There are moments that you need to be considerate of a work life or a habit that is going to be helpful. But I'm just going to tell you, whatever I do, whatever it is that I do, I'm going to give it everything I got. It makes me someone that's a little bit intense, but I don't want to be someone who looks back at my life and thinks, man, I had a lot more to give. I'm giving it everything I got in this life. The third thing I would say that is the what is Jesus tells us what to do. He says, teach and make disciples. When he leaves, he says, go throughout the world, teaching what I've told you, and then make disciples. Make followers, just like what I did with you. Your responses today are to trust and obey. Whatever your hand finds to do it with everything you got. And then teach and make disciples. That is the what in your life. Now you say, Webb, I'm working at Burger King. How in the world am I supposed to do that? And I think to myself, oh my goodness, there's plenty that you can just trust the Lord. Look, if you're just at the window at Burger King, be thankful that you're not the manager of that Burger King. Be thankful that you're not in front of a bunch of other people and constantly having to make decisions. Be thankful wherever you're at. Trust the Lord in those things, and then be obedient. What does obedient mean? Well, first of all, if you're working at Burger King, then you need to be kind. You need to be helpful. You need to be mindful. You need to be there. You need to be ready. You need to be prepared. You need to be present. Whatever it is that you've been called to do, you need to go be that person. Maybe you're working as a telemarketer right now, and I can't think of a worse job on this earth than being a telemarketer. But what if you showed up every single day on time with joy, that you encouraged others, that you handled every single bit of that job with as much enthusiasm and joy as you possibly can? I'm telling you that God will give you gifts in the midst of that difficult season if you'll be diligent in the middle of it. Trust and obey. Give it whatever you've got. And when the opportunities come, teach what you've learned about Jesus. I had a really cool talk with an evangelist recently where he mentioned that he used to like to take, when he would travel, he would go to these hotels or whatever, and he would buy lunch for the cleaning ladies, and he would sit down with them. And after they had eaten, they'd talk for a little bit. They'd talk about how thankful they were for the meal. He would say, do you mind if I speak for 5 minutes on who Jesus is to me? Wow, what a cool open door. Like taking somebody to lunch and just asking, can I talk about the most important thing in my life? Look, if they say no, you just stop. But if they say yes, that gives you an open door to preach the gospel, to tell other people about who Jesus is. What an incredible moment that is. And who knows, maybe that person you share with will say yes to Jesus and to your discipleship, and then you can teach somebody else the things that you have learned while being in the dark. You can teach that person what they need to know. You can bring them further and further into the light. Maybe the reason that you right now have not been promoted, it could be that you haven't been present. You haven't been doing what you need to do in the meantime. Or maybe it's because he's been waiting for you to shine the light in the place that you had expected the least. And he's setting it up right now for you to be someone who unleashes the gospel wherever it is that you are. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. I want you to know that right now. Don't for a second think that God doesn't have a great plan for you. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose in this life. You have what it takes to make a difference in this world. You have what it takes. Develop it. Believe in it. Trust in the God who gave it to you. You have what it takes to make a difference, because time with is never time wasted. And that's one of those things I say all the time, but I just want you to know, wherever you're spending your time right now doesn't have to be a waste. Give it everything you've got. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose, you have what it takes, and time with is never time wasted. And a person who really believes that, who really gives everything they've got, and they teach everyone what God has told them, that's a person everyone needs.